So we look at, is this going? Yes, it is. Okay, it says, number one, f of x equals all that mess. It says put it in standard form, then give the degree as both a number and a name, okay? So we're going to answer this one, and then also I would really encourage you to jot down a few notes, okay? Not a lot, just a few. So we have f of x equals negative 7x plus 4 minus 8x to the third plus 5x squared. So, standard form, that's a fancy way of saying put it in the right order. Which term should have been first? Negative x what? What? Okay. Why should that have been first? Highest power. The next term should have been 5x squared. Then it should have been minus 7x plus 4. So we put it in standard form. We've done that. And then it says, I want to know the degree as a number and as a name. What's the degree?
Third.
Why 3?
Because that's the highest power.
Highest power, so it's third degree. Now, there's a name for third degree.
Is it cubic?
It's cubic, okay? It's cubic. Now, this problem's done. But I would really encourage you to jot down some notes. This is not the test question. If this would have been a 4 right here, this would have been a 4 right here, you wouldn't say it's third degree, you'd say it's fourth degree. And it might be fourth degree on the test. You've got to know the name for fourth degree. Quartic. So you might want to also jot down a couple of notes. Fourth degree is quartic. We already said third degree. What's second degree? Come on, we've said this a million times this year. It's just misleading. Quadratic. Quadratic. Okay, squared, I'd take a point off. It's not wrong, but the name for it is a quadratic, okay? And first degree?
Linear.
Linear. You guys need to remind me, did I tell you you had to memorize fifth degree? I don't think I did I? I think I might have told you it was quintic. I might have said that, but I said you didn't need to memorize it. If I told you to memorize it, I'm going to tell you right now it's not going to be quintic on the test. Okay, you better know these four though. Okay, it's going to be one of those, either linear, quadratic, cubic, or quartic. Okay, so again, even though you don't need this for this question, you might need it. It might be second degree. You need to know it's a quadratic. You need to know these words. Okay, number 2. Again, I don't mean to keep picking on first hour. Man, it was like crickets when I asked them how to do this question. I think this is a very basic question. I don't want to know the answer. I just want to know how do I get the answer if I give you this function, and then I say find f of 2. They couldn't answer. They wouldn't answer when I said, well, what do you do?
Insert 2 as x.
Do what?
Insert 2 as x.
Into what x?
Every.
Why do you plug in 2? Is that your favorite number?
No, because
Yeah, if it says f of 5, what do you do? Plug in 5 for what?
X.
All the x's. First hour wouldn't answer that. It's like, guys, come on. And when you put it in, always put it in parentheses. So, 2 times 2 cubed minus 4 times 2 squared plus 5 times 2 minus 3. What calculating did I just do? None. I didn't do any calculating whatsoever, okay? We actually have to do some computation now, though. You got to go back to middle school. Do we times first or do powers first? Powers. 2 times 2 cubed, it's not 6. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Minus 4 times 2 squared is 4. Plus 5 times 2 minus 3. We did our powers first. Then we multiply. 2 times 8 is 16. Minus 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 2 is 10. Take away 3. Again, we're back in middle school. Do you add first or subtract first? You always add before you subtract?
No, you have left to right.
Left to right. Good. Whatever you see first, left to right. So in this case, we're going to subtract first. Okay? 16 minus 16 is 0. Plus 10 is 10. Minus 3 is 7. You simply plug in what I tell you to, and then simplify it. Okay? Now, when you're looking at 3 and 4, I told you about 5 minutes ago that when you get 3 and 4, you might be either going, I don't remember this, or if you do remember, you're like, oh man, I forgot. Ooh, I forgot how to do these. It will be okay, because on your test, when you're taking your test, this information will be provided for you. Okay? If you want to jot this down, you can. It's a lot of writing here. If you want to, you can. If it was me, I already took notes over this about a month ago. It should be in your notebook somewhere. Okay? My thoughts are this. If you didn't write it down a month ago, you're probably not going to write it down right now. Okay? But if you did write it down, instead of writing all this down right now, I would just say, look back to section 4.1. You have it in your notes somewhere, okay? Ax to the n. A is positive, n is even, A is positive, no, A is negative, N is even, A is positive, N is odd, A is negative, N is odd, and then the graphs look like this. They generally look like this. Here, 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 and here. And then it says this. If it was me, I'd be looking at my notes right now just saying, man, do I have those in here or not? If you remember jotting them down, you should have them somewhere.
What section is that?
4-1. We only spent at most 2 days on it. Okay. Okay. Yep, that's what I want, right? Okay, so let's look at question number 3. Again, those should be in your notes somewhere. They give us, if you remember, the other analogy I used when I taught you this was, remember, you're working at the cash register again, okay? And you accidentally dump it all out on the floor, and you have to get a pretty good estimate in 30 seconds. How do you you don't have time to count all the money. What's the best way of counting the biggest, counting your hundreds and 50s and 20s first? You're gonna count your pennies and nickels and dimes? Not if you don't have enough time. There's no way. You count the big bills first. So I am not going to write down this entire problem in question number 3, okay? The end behavior. You shouldn't have to look at the entire problem. What should you look at in question 3? Which term? The first one. Do you always look at the first one?
No.
The one that has the highest power. So if it's in the right order, it's the first one. So all you look at is 8x to the 6th. The other terms have an impact on the function, just not as big of an impact on the function. Just like your pennies and nickels, dimes don't have as much impact on the total as your hundreds and 50s do, okay? So all you look at is 8x to the 6th. So is this like choice 1, choice 2, choice 3, or choice 4? 1. Why 1? How come?
It's even.
The first number is positive, and this is even. So you know what you do? You write that down. This will all be given to you on the test. I'm explaining it to you now. I'll explain it to you Monday. I'll explain it to you Tuesday before you get the exam. Once you get the exam, you know how much I'm going to help you on this question? None. Not one bit, okay? I'm basically giving you the answer. So what do you put down? X arrow infinity. Infinity? The hardest part for me on this one is drawing the infinity symbols. Okay, X arrow.
I just turned my paper into.
Make an 8. That works too. Now, this problem's done, but I would like you at least right now to know what the heck this is even saying, okay? X is what directions? The x-axis runs what and what? Which directions? Left and right. Left and right. So x arrow infinity is right. X arrow negative infinity is what? Left. When you see f of x, you can scribble that out and make it a what? Y arrow infinity. So these are the fancy ways of saying as you go to the right, the graph does what? It goes up. Here it says as you go to the left, the graph does what? It goes up. Okay? Let's look at this one down here. This says when you go what? To the right, it goes what? Down. When you go to the left, it goes up. I lied a little bit, okay? I said I was going to give you all this information. I'm not going to give you this. And there's a reason for it. You know why I'm not going to give it to you? You don't need it. It does explain, but you really don't need it. I mean, you really don't, okay? All right, so that's it from that one. Number 4. If you get 3 right, you get 4 right. If you get 4 or 3 wrong, you're going to get 4 wrong. Are you looking at everything on the function? Just what? Highest power, which is what? You don't even look at the rest of the stuff. Negative 7x3, is this like choice 1, 2, 3, or 4? Why? Negative odd. So you know what you do with this? Write it down. X arrow infinity, as you go to the right, f of x goes to negative infinity. It goes down. x arrow negative infinity, as you go to the left, f of x, your y, goes to infinity, which is positive, infinity, which is up. Again, I will give you that. That's why I look at it this way, and I'm not looking for me to break my arm, pat myself on the back here. I think this would be a very, very tough problem for you guys without that information. I'm giving you the information. It's really, really easy now. It really should be, okay? So that's why I said, when you look at this, don't worry about 3 and 4. It'll be okay. All right. Now we're on to this week's stuff. Everything left on this review sheet we did this week. So if you've been keeping up on your assignments, you've been paying attention, working when you're supposed to, working at home, getting caught up on homework if you need be, you should be fine. If you've done nothing this week, you got some work to do this weekend, okay? Number 5, find the sum. So 8x3 minus 5x plus 2 plus 6x squared minus x. All we're doing is simple addition. Make a note of this. You have to put these in the right order. If you don't put them in the right order, I will take a point off. It's only 1 point, but points add up. They have to be in the right order, okay? So, should I look at 8x to the third first? Yeah, why? Yeah, what can I add to 8x3? Nothing. There are no other x3s, so leave it 8x3. Now, if I want to put them in the right order, should I look at negative 5x next? I'd look at what? That is the next highest exponent. What goes with that? Nothing, so it stays positive 6x squared. All right? Now we can have negative 5x. I can put something with negative 5x. What's in front of this x? Negative what? What's a negative 5 and a negative 1? And then I can also put together 2 and 7. And that is in the right order. This question's done. Let's review question 1 again, though. What degree is that? Third degree. What's third degree called? Cubic. 6. Subtract. Find the difference. Negative 3x squared plus 6x plus 5, minus 5. 6x minus 5, right? Yep. Minus 8x minus 1. Okay. I would really encourage you to do it this way. Okay? I would get rid of the parentheses first. There's a number sitting out front here. What's out front here? A 1. What happens when you distribute a 1? It stays the same. It stays the same. So just write down negative 3x squared plus 6x minus 5. Now, on this set of parentheses, it's not a 1 that's sitting out there. It's a negative sign. When you distribute a negative sign, what happens? Do things change?
Yeah.
How? To the opposite. So what am I going to write down? Negative 8x plus 1. Then combine your like terms. We're done subtracting. Don't worry about it. Some students think, okay, you still subtract now. No, you don't. We've already dealt with the subtraction sign. Now just combine your like terms. What goes with negative 3x squared? Nothing. What goes with 6x? Negative 8x, and that's what? And then we put together negative 5 and positive 1, that's a negative 4. Let's review question 1 again. What degree is that? Second, which is called a what? Quadratic, okay? Is it incorrect to say it's squared? No, but I will take a point off. You've got to know the name quadratic. You've got to, that's what I'm really looking for is quadratic. Second degree of quadratic. Okay, 4 more to go. Okay, multiply. We have negative 3x squared times 5x3 minus 2x squared plus 6x minus 3. Okay, we're going to multiply everything by negative 3x squared. If you just take them one step at a time, this really shouldn't be that bad. So when I say that, what do I do with the coefficients? What do I do with the numbers out front? We're timesing, so we times them. When we times, what do we do with the exponents? You add them. You've got to get that memorized, okay? So what's negative 3x2 times 5x3? Negative 15x to the 5th. Let's do the next one. What's negative 3x2 times negative 2x2? A negative times a negative? Positive. 3 times 2 is 6. X2 is x4. Negative 3x squared times 6x. Negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. What's x2 times x? X3. Because there's a 1 on this. And what's negative 3x squared times negative 3? Negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 3 is 9. x squared. Put it in the right order. Combine like terms. They are, okay? What degree is this? And what's the fancy word for fifth degree? It's quintic, but who cares? I'm not going to make you do that. Don't worry about quintic. Again, I want to make sure you understand. Did you need to write down fifth degree on this one, on the test? You need to write down fifth degree? I mean, you can if you want. I'm just asking you this because we're reviewing question number 1 again. Just want to make sure you have that down. Number 8, multiply x minus 4 times 3x squared plus 5x plus 1. Okay? So we're going to multiply everything by everything. So we're going to multiply everything first by what? X, and then later on by -4. Okay? Watch the negatives. So what's x times 3x squared? 3x cubed. X times 5x is 5x squared. And x times 1 is 1x, or just x, it doesn't matter. Okay. Now what? Distribute the 4? The 4? -4. -4 times 3x squared is -12x squared. -4 times positive 5x is -20x. And -4 times 1 is -4. Have I multiplied everything by everything? Bless you. So we all done? No. If you stop here on your test, you probably get 3 out of 5 points, okay? You got to combine like terms and put them in the right order. What goes with 3x3? Nothing. But 5x squared goes with -12x squared. Watch the negatives. That's a -7x squared. I can also put together 1x and -20x. And that's -19x minus 4 more. What do you think about question 9? Do you think number 9 looks more difficult or less difficult? Very good. It's the same. It's not more difficult. It's just what? It's just going to take longer. Number 9 is just going to take a little bit longer because instead of 2 terms times 3 terms, you have 3 terms times 3 terms. So you do it the same way. Just going to take longer. 2x squared minus 5x plus 6. So we're going to multiply everything in the right first by what? 4x squared. Then later on, we're going to times everything by 3x. And then we're going to eventually times everything by 1. So let's start with 4x squared. Okay? Remember, you times the numbers out front, you add the exponents. All right? So 4x squared times 2x squared, 8x to the 4th. 4x squared times -5x, you have 20x to the 3rd. 4x squared times 6, 24x squareds. Okay, we're done timesing by 4x squared. Now we need to times by 3x. 3x times 2x squared, 6x to the 3rd. 3x times -5x, -15x squared. And 3x times 6 is 18x. We all done? Still have to times everything by 1. Okay. So, when times by 1, times 2x squared is 2x squared. 1 times -5x is -5x. And be careful, some students do all this right, and then they'll see 1 and 6, and they'll write down 7. Where'd they get 7 from? Yeah, they times, and for whatever reason they add at the end. Don't add. 6. Combine like terms and put them in the right order. Look, it does take a while. Yes, it does. 8x4, nothing goes with 8x4. But -20x3 goes with positive 6x3, -14x3s. We can put together 24x squared and -15x squared. And 2x squared. Very good. 24 and -15 is 9. 9 and 2 is 11x squareds. I could put together 18x and -5x. That's 13x plus 6. I totally agree. That's a long question. But when you flip the paper over, look at, for example, question 11 and 12 and 13. Those are very quick questions. There's some very quick, easy ones. There's some. I don't think this one's hard. It takes a while, but it's not that difficult. It just takes a little while. Number 10, last one we're going to do today. Multiply This thing we're doing on Wednesday. X plus 2, X plus 3, X plus 4. How do you multiply three things together all at the same time? You can't. Okay? So you've got to pick two at a time. Doesn't matter. I almost always pick the last two. It doesn't matter. Okay? This is my personal preference. Okay? Let's FOIL this thing out. I'm going to write FOIL. You don't have to, but if it's easier, write out FOIL. My first terms are x times x, which is x squared. My outers are x times 4. That's 4x, a positive 4x. So put a plus sign in between there. My inners, the ones on the inside, are 3 times x, which is positive 3x. And our last, 3 and 4, which is positive 12. Before you multiply by x plus 2, simplify that. We can put together 3x and 4x. We have x squared plus 7x plus 12. Then we still need to times by x plus 2. So we're going to times everything first by what? Then later on by 2. Start with the x. X times x squared, x3. X times 7x is 7x squared. X times 12 is 12x. Now times by 2. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 7x is 14x. 2 times 12 is 24. We've times everything by everything, but we're not done because we have to put them in the right order and combine your like terms. Nothing goes with x3, but 7x squared goes with 2x squared. That's 9x squared. 12 and 14 is 26x plus 24. Now I'm going to ask you guys the same question I asked first hour, okay? And they whiffed on this. I'm not going to say who it was, okay? But somebody's responded. Not the response. Think about this for a second, okay? Does the review look similar to, you guys have had any first semester now. Are the reviews and the tests going to look similar? A little similar? Just a little similar? A lot similar. So here's what I asked first hour, and they whiffed on it. This one is positive. It's positive. Everything's positive. Everything's positive. Do you think on the test that this question, everything's going to be positive? Very good, yes. There's no surprises. Is it going to be x plus 2, x plus 3, x plus 4? No, not probably not. Definitely not. But it's going to be like x plus 5, x plus 7, x plus 1. That's why I get so frustrated on test day. I'm giving you the test now. I'm telling you how to do the test. You got a job to do. You got to study it, okay? And those of you that are going to work, I'm not being judgmental. I'm just saying some of you work really hard in this class. Use your class time wisely. Participate, ask questions, stuff like that. You've got all your assignments done. You probably don't need to study a whole lot for it, okay? I don't want you learning this stuff on Monday night. Hopefully you already know it. This is just review, okay? If you do what you're supposed to do in this class, you'll do fine. If you don't, you're going to struggle. It's that simple. You get out of what you put into it. I told you that day one in this class. I want you to get the grade you deserve, okay? So, all right. You got a few minutes. If you maybe knock, I would try to do at least one synthetic division problem before you get out of here, okay? While it's still fresh in your mind. I'm not saying you have to.